Welcome to Video 3, Navigating Friction, Handling Objections and Difficult Customers. In our previous sessions, we built the architecture of trust and mastered active discovery. We learned how to align our presence and uncover the root cause of a customer's need. But business is not a perfect system. Entropy exists. Mistakes happen. Expectations misalign. Friction is inevitable. Even with perfect rapport and flawless discovery, you will eventually face an angry client, a severe misunderstanding, or a rigid objection. Today, we will learn how to navigate that friction. We will explore the biological trap of emotional contagion. We will learn how to separate the person from the problem. We will operationalize de-escalation using the L.E.A.P method, and we will learn how to reframe objections from rejections into opportunities. Let us begin with the invisible force that destroys most difficult conversations: emotional contagion. Human beings are deeply social creatures. Our nervous systems are not isolated, they are an open loop. We are constantly scanning our environment and subconsciously syncing with the emotional states of those around us. If someone walks into a room laughing, you smile. If someone walks in screaming, your heart rate spikes. This biological transfer of stress is emotional contagion. When a customer is anxious, frustrated, or aggressive, they are projecting a high stress frequency. If you are not careful, your biological programming will force you to match that frequency. Your amygdala, the threat detection center of your brain, will perceive their anger as a physical attack. You will enter a state of fight or flight. You will either become defensive and argue back, or you will become submissive and retreat. Both reactions are fatal to the relationship. The amateur acts as an emotional thermometer. They simply reflect the temperature of the room. If the customer is hot, the amateur gets hot. The professional acts as an emotional thermostat. They set the temperature. To maintain your baseline calm, you must create a micropause between the customer's stimulus and your response. When the customer raises their voice, take a slow, deep breath. Anchor your feet to the floor. Lower the pitch and volume of your own voice. By deliberately projecting a calm, grounded frequency, you force the customer's nervous system to sync with yours. You do not let them drag you into the storm, you pull them into the calm. Once you have stabilized your own emotional state, you must address the customer's anger. To do this effectively, you must master a critical psychological distinction. You must separate the person from the problem. When a customer is upset, they conflate their emotional experience with objective reality. They believe that because they are intensely frustrated, you must be entirely at fault. Amateurs try to resolve the conflict by arguing the facts. They say, actually, Section 4 of the contract clearly states that delivery takes 5 days. This is a catastrophic error. You cannot solve an emotional problem with a logical argument. Logic is gasoline on the fire of an angry mind. Before you can address the facts, you must validate the feelings. Validating a feeling does not mean you are agreeing with their version of the facts. It simply means you are acknowledging their human experience. You can say, if I were in your position and I thought I was overcharged, I would be incredibly frustrated too. Notice the phrasing. You are not saying, you are right, we overcharged you. You are saying, your frustration is a valid human response to your perception of the event. By validating the emotion, you disarm the hostility. You separate their identity and their feelings from the mechanical problem that needs to be solved. Once they feel heard and validated, their cognitive brain comes back online, and they are finally ready to look at the facts. To operationalize this process, we rely on a structured framework. It is called the L.E.A.P method. Listen, empathize, apologize, and problem solve. Step 1 is listen. When an angry customer calls, they have a reservoir of negative energy. They must empty that reservoir before they can listen to a single word you say. Let them vent. Do not interrupt. Do not defend yourself. Do not offer premature solutions. Simply listen and use brief verbal nods to keep them talking until they run out of breath. Step 2 is empathize. This is where you separate the person from the problem. You reflect their emotion back to them. I can hear how disruptive this delay has been for your team. Empathy is the bridge between their anger and your solution. Step 3 is apologize. This step is often misunderstood. You do not have to accept liability for something that is not your fault, but you must apologize for the friction. You can say, I am so sorry that you are having to deal with this situation today, or I apologize for the confusion this has caused. A sincere apology for the experience costs you nothing, but it buys you immense goodwill. Step 4 is problem solve. Now, and only now, do you pivot to the future. You shift the dynamic from you versus me to us versus the problem. You say, let us look at how we can fix this immediately. The L.E.A.P method provides a predictable, stabilizing structure for unpredictable, volatile interactions. Finally, we must address the concept of objections. Friction does not always manifest as anger. Often, it manifests as a simple no. A customer says, your price is too high, or we do not have the time to implement this. Amateurs view an objection as a wall. They see it as a rejection, and they either surrender or they try to smash through it with aggressive persuasion. Professionals view an objection as a door. An objection is rarely a definitive rejection. It is almost always a request for more information. When a customer says, your price is too high, what they are actually saying is, you have not yet provided enough value to justify this cost to my brain. Please explain it differently. You must reframe the objection in your own mind. Do not become defensive. Become curious. Use the active discovery skills we learned in video 2. When they object, lean in. Say, I appreciate you sharing that concern. When you say the price is too high, are you comparing it to a specific budget you have in mind or to another solution? Treating the objection as a puzzle to be solved collaboratively rather than an attack to be defended against, you transform friction into momentum. Let us review. Friction is inevitable, but escalation is a choice. You defeat emotional contagion by acting as a thermostat, maintaining your baseline calm. You de-escalate tension by separating the person from the problem, validating their feelings before you address the facts. You guide the interaction using the L.E.A.P method. Listen, empathize, apologize, and problem solve. And you reframe objections not as rejections, but as requests for deeper clarity. When you master these frameworks, difficult customers are no longer a threat. They are an opportunity to demonstrate exceptional emotional intelligence. Thank you for listening.